Welcome to Just Relationships, the show that offers you concrete ways to make your relationships better. Whether it's your boss, your spouse, your children, or your friends, the quality of your relationships in life directly affects how you feel about yourself and the success you achieve. Your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer, a psychotherapist, telecoach, author, and seminar leader, will interview top experts to help you learn to manage this essential part of your life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer.
Greetings to you. Boy, are you in for a treat. How are your emotions these days? How does it feel to feel anything? Do you let yourself feel anything? We have some very strange ideas about emotions in our society, and I call something fake positivity. People exile their emotions, and then it wreaks havoc with their lives, and they move into addictive behavior very, very often. Well, I'm going to stop talking so you get to hear from David McCauley, who is the author of Emotional Healing. What costs so little is worth so much. So tell us what on earth you mean by that, David.
Well, first I'd like to say it's my pleasure to be here, and thank you, Dr. Duffy, for having me as a guest on Just Relationships.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I guess I'd like to start telling a little bit about myself. I am an author, chairman of the board, and founder of Oak Valley Foundation, CEO of Oak Valley Recovery Media. In 1993, I became a certified drug and alcohol counselor, certified social worker. I also have 29 years in recovery.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I grew up in New Jersey. I enjoyed cooking, hiking, reading good books, helping all in their recovery journey. And my goal today in life is to bring awareness and education to those who suffer from addiction and those with mental health issues.
Boy, do we need that, David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, we are... Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
We are often called by social scientists a nation of addicts. What's your take on that?
Well, I believe there's many different forms of addiction. It's not necessarily alcohol, drugs, or eating disorders, or gambling. Many people suffer from being excitement junkies. There's so many different ways that we try to avoid our feelings, avoid things going on in our life. People have many different avenues, I believe, when it comes to addiction. We mostly do hear about alcohol and drugs, but many people suffer from many different types of addiction.
And I use the term soft addictions, like not only substance but process addictions. And if you're looking at gambling, playing the lotto, shopping, video gaming, binge TV watching, these everyday activities that cross the line. Would you agree?
Yes, I do agree.
Yes.
Many people, they cannot deal with the things that are going on in their life, and they use any type of avoidance, any type of addiction, instead of dealing and understanding the issues or the problems, past problems, current problems that they may have.
And if I may, David, I know you have so much you want to tell us, but I am so struck by when you use the term excitement junkies, which is a fabulous term, that people will go to all of these movies, these thrillers, and these incredible up and down and crazy car chasing and you name it, and murdering, and yet we avoid our feelings. And I think we need this extra excitement and adrenaline because it's safe, and going inside and being with our own feelings feels unsafe. What's your take on that?
Well, I would really like to talk a little bit about that. I mean, I think it's a big part of why this book was written, opposed to my first book. I have been bringing a positive message to social media for over 2.5 years now, and this book was inspired by the positive words of many because of the issues that what you were talking about. One, which was a woman named Valerie, who wrote on one of my posts that it's great to be able to contribute. And she wrote to me, "A great writer has the ability to move a reader, much like a singer can move a listener." And this was one of the positive things that, understanding, and she was one of many that helped me understand that the need for emotional healing, for people to understand their emotions, to work through their emotions, was the most important. And I set my goal to get this book finished and get this book put out there.
Yes.
Greatly inspired by my wife to be a recall for her unconditional love, her support, and the healing and fulfillment in my life. This is what, when we look inside ourselves, we find so much inside ourselves instead of avoiding looking inside ourselves with some type of addiction or some kind of other avoidance like we were talking about.
And the other piece, I like the term our shadow, that we all have a shadow. Everything we want to disown, disregard, just really not own about ourselves. And if we don't own our shadow, we are blind. And on the other hand, if we look at the shadow and we shed light on the shadow, it is no longer a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was a part of my deep inner soul searching journey that I had gone through. Exactly what you're talking about, looking at our shadow self, looking at the different masks that we wear throughout our day.
Right.
And, who is that true person that truly lives inside of you that is buried under all the carnage or the aches and the pains of your life.
Oh, wow. Beautifully said. Your true self is buried under the carnage of your life, all the things that have happened to you and that sort of thing.
And this it is my hope that everything written in this book, Emotional Healing, will have meaning to those in need of healing, to understand how movement of the mind, body, and soul are critical to emotional healing and critical to life. Bringing all those pieces of your life together as one.
Which we call the integrated self.
Yes.
The movement of the pieces into the self, the whole. And when you say what costs so little is worth so much, tell us about that.
Well, I chose that because I thought the sub was a perfect subtitle because it costs so little to self-discover ourselves, to look inside ourselves. And it is worth so much what comes out of that when we find our true self that has been buried inside of us. The person that we put layers and layers over of avoidance with many things and not finding our true self. And there's many reasons why that may happen. I'd like to go, talk a little bit about that as well.
Please do.
Because to me, emotional healing is necessary for both women and men alike to discover the power and wisdom that lie in our emotions. But you cannot keep the pain of our past or present inside of us and expect to live a fulfilling life and have fulfilling relationships.
And so many people, I'm a psychotherapist, won't come to therapy because they don't want to be hurt all over again. And if they give me a forum, I will explain that we are not letting that pain and hurt take over. We are witnessing with compassion these painful parts of ourselves. We are giving them a forum. We are with the pain. We are not the pain. And yeah, your own
the
words.
Most important thing about the pain you're talking about is understanding that pain, learning from that pain, releasing and letting go.
Right. And you have to be with it. You have to let yourself feel your feelings. What a strange thing, right? Literally feeling one's own feelings in our feeling phobic society, that so many people are so afraid to have their feelings because they're irrational and they're messy and they're sticky and I don't want to be ruled by my feelings. Got it. Mm-hmm. But feel it, be with it, understand it, and then release it. Yes.
Yes. And this the book is about addressing our inner wounds, coming to terms with the shame, the guilt, the hurts, the pain, the suffering that you carry in order to have freedom from your past. And at the same time, addressing the anger that surrounds that, the sadness, so that you can move forward in your life.
And how do you help people do that at the Oak Valley Recovery Foundation? You have a rehab center yourself?
No. Oak Valley Foundation was set up, the proceeds from the books that I write and the DVDs with the workbooks, money goes into the foundation from them, proceeds from them, books and everything, so that we can give books to people who need them. I go do talks at conventions, symposiums, churches, community centers. So it allows us to bring the message out there. We are about awareness and education in Foundation.
Beautiful. So how do you help people face their feelings when they want to avoid them, cringe away from them?
Well, I think it's about, helping them understand that, there's such the need for emotional healing, whether it be from our childhood experiences, love relationships, if you've gone through a divorce, traumatic experiences. There's many reasons for an individual that may need emotional healing. Connecting your thoughts and your emotions together are of such value. To help people understand that it is so important to be connected, to bring everything connected as one.
Right. And there's an expression, triggers are trailheads. That to notice that you're triggered, and most people, if they are given half a chance in the question, they'll say, oh yeah, I notice my heart is beating faster, my muscles are tensing up. And this expression was spoken by Richard Schwartz. And so I want to give him credit for the quote, triggers are trailheads. And then basically, once you experience the trigger, you ask yourself the smart question, what does this remind me of? This feeling. And often if we give ourselves that question and we listen, we'll go back to a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6-year-old self and what we experienced at that time. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. I believe all of that, especially from our childhood, some of the messages that we were given as a child, whether that be from our parents, siblings, uncles, aunts, a lot of they were not positive messages, and they leave scars inside our soul, because the deepest foundation of our life lies in our soul. there lies our values, our principles, and our desires. And when there is damage